This method can be used with any shape mum that you would desire, whether it be a circle, a heart, a paw, or even the state of Texas. So let's get started. You'll want to find one of these flexible plastic grids in the cross-stitch section of Hobby Lobby. Now the edges are a little sharp, so we're going to cover those with material later. Use a big piece of paper like for shipping to draw the actual size and shape that you want, and you'll use that as a pattern to transfer over onto this plastic grid. If the grid's too narrow or short, you can piece it together with pieces like I did here. It was a little too narrow, and so I had to add that extra piece, which I will show how I reinforced it later. Now you'll be covering the back and the edges with this soft material so that they don't snag or scratch. On top of the grid you'll want these sheets of felt. Now this felt had a little sparkle to it. It will be the backing behind your mum that you'll be gluing your mums to, and you'll be sewing through it, so please do not glue heavily. Now these are the mums I use. They're a little cheaper than the mums that come in single head. And this is Christmas garland, which I clipped tips off to glue in between the mums so the mums wouldn't have gaps between them. Then I used the edging of this little feather edging to go around the edge after the mums are glued on. Now here's your shape with the felt, and you can see these popsicle sticks that I used on the back to reinforce that extra piece so that it doesn't bend or fold, but it's still lightweight and durable. Now you're ready for your ribbons. Now be sure to lay out all your ribbons nice and flat in the exact order that you want them to be. I put the main ribbons that I wanted as a focal point in the middle, and then I put a nice balance on either side of texture and color. Make sure the upper tips of the ribbons line up flush with each other in a straight line, because you're going to stitch them together in groups of 3 and 4 so that they will reach the edges of your design. Put a stitch up through one edge of the ribbon, down through the middle, up through the middle again, and down through the other edge in a straight line so that the ribbon lays flat. And that way you'll be able to just expand it or gather it by sliding it up and down this thread that you just put through according to how wide your design is, because you'll want it to go from one edge to the other edge of your design. And make sure the ribbons don't curl or bend or fold under each other. Make sure they lay flat on top of each other. Now you can see I was able to gather these ribbons together, and now I've sewn them through the plastic grid onto the felt and back through the grid again in a straight line from edge to edge. So they're very durable and they won't fall out as if they were just glued. So now on the back you're going to be gluing that really soft material and leaving a flap to hang down over the ribbons. Leave excess on the edge of the material so you can fold it over and glue it so that there are no sharp edges to scratch or snag. Now you're ready for the mums and all the fun stuff that goes in between the mums. Then after the mums, you will want to add your edging to keep the shape defined. Now I used some webbing ribbon in kind of in a circle like a rose to put in between the mums around the edge. And then here's an example of the tip of the garland that I used. Have fun. See, it's very flexible, so it's nice and comfortable. But when you do bend it, I have glued down inside in between there, like the little tips to the garland from the Christmas tree, and these little silver flowers and bead with the pipe cleaner through it, and the netting ribbon rolled up like in a little rose shape, and you glue them deep down on the felt in between the mums so that your mums don't have gaps between them. Here's the little airplane I put on there. I put it on a pipe cleaner so that you could move it around, and the pipe cleaner is glued down to the felt down. Put other little ribbons there too. Now these bears are not glued on. This is glued on. This is that kind of a webbing ribbon that I put in a little circle here, and then what I did is I put a nice thick thread that I sewed and anchored back through the back of the mum around his neck and around her neck, and then I sewed them together. We have feathers just glued on the edging there, and it's very comfortable. So pretty, and we have the little danglies down here. I do have little clusters of miniature jingle bells hanging down, and then across, and then their picture. Now this ribbon here was a wired ribbon, but when you clip it at the end, it's real easy just to pull the wire out on both sides and just use it as a real pretty ribbon. These ribbons, of course, I crisscrossed and glued onto another flat ribbon so that they would stay nice and flat. But there's lots of different textures here from the wedding section. It's the same place that I found the part that I put on the neck. These were a pick in the wedding section neck ribbons so that it'll be nice and comfortable and match. And
So there it is. It's so pretty and full, and all the little jingle bells at the bottom of all the ribbons and all the different textures and danglies. Isn't it fun? And here on the back you can see that soft material, and then I sewed these little rings on really tight. They have these little clips that you attach the ribbon to that goes around her neck so she can take it on and off without messing up her hair. Now I left this flap hanging free so that you could add ribbons anytime you wanted to on top of the other ribbons that are there, and then just let the flap hang down when it's all done. So there it is. If you're having trouble thinking of good ideas, just ask God to give you good ideas and the ability to carry them out. And this is what can happen. So pretty and breathable and flexible and durable. Even around the neck, it's so comfortable and pretty. So be creative and have fun.